Alright, what's up, familia? Welcome inside the Big Rig. Hope you guys are doing good. Keep your between the lines. Got your load secure. Alright, let's get into a scary trucker story.
One of the first things I learned as a trucker is that you can't always count on cell service. Whether it's because you're driving through bad weather and the cell towers are down, or simply because you're in a part of the country with spotty service, something can always go wrong. That's why trucks come equipped with state-of-the-art radio systems to communicate with other drivers on the road and anyone else we might need to get a hold of.
Okay. Very, very, very true, man. Okay? There are some truckers today that don't put in a CB radio. I always recommend you put a CB radio on. Serio.
Really important in emergency situations. That's why I didn't know what to do when mine was actually causing my emergency. I was driving through Nebraska on a small highway in the middle of nowhere. It was about 6 p.m. and the sun had just started to set. I let my mind drift off and I listened to the rumbling noise of the engine that was pulling me along. I decided to pull off to the side of the road for a few minutes to enjoy a small meal and calm my life before getting back on the road. The only problem was that I didn't have any cell reception. I decided to send my wife a text, assuming that she would get it when I was back in service, and then started eating the sandwich that I picked up earlier that day. I looked out the windshield of the rig I was driving, but the darker it got outside, the less I could see. Suddenly, I felt a chill in the air. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I felt my skin start to crawl. What's going on? I thought to myself as I looked around. As I said, I couldn't see much, so I decided to flip on my headlights to calm myself down. There was nothing around me, but for the life of me, I couldn't shake that strange feeling. I decided to wrap up my meal and hit the road again, just to be safe. But no more than 2 minutes after pulling the truck back on the road, I heard the click of my truck's CB radio, as if someone was trying to get through to me. I picked up the microphone to see if anyone was trying to patch through, but before I could speak, I heard a voice. "Where are you going?" it asked.
Oh.
I didn't recognize the tone of the person speaking to me, so I knew it wasn't anyone from the company I worked with. I asked them who I was speaking to, but I was only met with silence. I figured it was just some sort of prank. About a minute later, I heard the voice again. "I still see you," said the low-pitched voice. My hand gripped the steering wheel even tighter as my mind raced. I tried to find a logical explanation for who I was talking to, but I kept coming up blank. It must have just been a prankster, I thought to myself. But that was when the person on the other end of the CB started to describe my truck. "You're in a cherry red Mack truck, carrying lumber to the Bayside freight yard." He even knew my life.
Wow. Okay. Alright. Look. It's rare, but it does happen, man, where dudes like to play pranks on CB radios. Look, anybody with a CB radio, you don't necessarily have to be a trucker. You can install a CB radio into your car and start messing around, with anybody out there. So, I mean, when it's an odd hour of the night, yeah, it could get pretty damn freaky, Holmes. You know what I mean? If somebody's trolling you like that, Holmes.
License plate. I started looking at all my mirrors to see if I was being followed, but to my surprise, the road was still empty. A feeling of terror washed over me as I tried to figure out who this person was and how they knew how to contact me. I looked over to my phone, which was sitting on the dashboard, wondering if I should call for help, but then I remembered there was no cell phone service. I couldn't get help even if I wanted to. I continued driving down the road as calmly as possible, just waiting for the voice to speak again.
What do you call it, 911?
I unintentionally started to speed up. Must have been my nerves because I didn't even notice. He did. "Why are you running? You don't think you can escape me, do you?" the voice said. I could feel my palms getting sweaty as they gripped the steering wheel. All I could do was continue to drive. A few minutes went by and there was no sign of the voice, which helped to calm me down a bit. But every time I checked my phone, it would say no service, and I couldn't help but feel a pit of dread forming in my stomach. 20 more.
I'm not really sure, like, who would he call? He's gonna call, what, 911 and say, hey, there's somebody on the CB radio? I'm not even really sure. Like, he's waiting for the phone to get service, but not really sure what the explanation would be.
Minutes passed as I drove down that highway, and I thought I was in the clear, but then my heart almost stopped as I heard the CB radio clip. That was a fun time, wasn't it? Until we speak again, the voice said calmly before being cut off by static. As soon as the voice went away, I looked over to my phone and noticed that my cell phone signal was back. I called my boss as soon as I could, told her what happened to me, and asked if there was anyone in the warehouse who could have been messing with me. She was just as confused as I was, though. To this day, I still haven't figured out how that person got onto my frequency and knew so much about my truck. But the only thought that keeps me calm on the road is that it must have been a prankster or something. That's the only logical explanation that doesn't shake me to my core.
Okay, so I'm not sure if he's talking about a CB radio or another radio that just the company has for them to communicate with each other. Listening to that last part, I'm thinking it was the latter, but nonetheless, Holmes, yeah, when it comes to these CB radios, yeah, I'm not really sure what he would have called the Hudas for and told them that, hey, there's somebody on the CB radio saying that they know where I'm going and you know, it's freaking me out. I'm not really sure what he would want them to do. But yeah, man, there's definitely places where you get no cell service. That's what I'm saying, man. You get out there, you're out there, you know. So but yeah, look, I've never had any weird situation with the CB radio. For the most part, I mean, fools talk a gang of massa, homie, trying to call you out and stuff like that. But CB radio traffic is not what it used to be. Not even close. Due to, you know, smartphones now, there's not a lot of traffic on the CB radios anymore. I mean, you'll still, it's still good to have one, for damn sure. And you'll still go ahead and catch a couple of drivers here and there and have a conversation, but for the most part, it's not even close to the way it used to be once upon a time. So, as always, familia, live your life like you're on the road, be aware of your surroundings, and always keep a safe distance. Blood makes you live, but loyalty makes you family. Until next time, this is Ed the Total Trucker, over and out.